Dude, I might go sleep on the podcast for like 10 minutes and come back in.
Cheers.
Do you want us to cover you up with a
Cheers.
Cheers. Normally we're drinking liquor, but not after rolling for 30 minutes, huh?
No.
Not even 30.
I've drank enough liquor this weekend.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. How was your weekend?
Eventful. Belmar Saturday, and then Lower Key, and then High Key Sunday bottle service at Headliner.
I feel like we should just turn this into, like, the Chase Hour.
An intervention.
Or that. I mean, that'll be season 5, but season 1 through 4 is a roller coaster.
I think you could title this episode, The Chaser.
Dude, yeah.
That's for I'm stealing that for next weekend.
Let's go right there.
And I saw you grew a new haircut.
I did. I had the, Jerry curls, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Afro wig. It was pretty sick.
And where do you just have a costume guy?
So that was actually Jesse's. He had it from a Halloween costume. So I rocked that. We were in the pool. Bottle service. Then we went to DJ's at night. Then, after a little bit of time...
This was Sunday
night.
Sunday. Mind you.
And then Sunday
Partying
night.
Sunday. He knows he has work on Monday. Sunday party. If you do go out Sunday and party, you should be like, okay, I'm going to wind down around 3, 4, cut off 5 or 6, water, Pedialyte, Advil, food, bed.
So you mean being responsible?
Responsible would just be
maybe not drinking.
Yeah, like clean the house, pay the bills. But then he's like, you went home, and then someone said,
gonna go take a nap, and then someone said, let's go to DJ's. So we go back to my other buddies, borrow some clothes, because I didn't plan on going out. And then we went to DJ's at night.
Is it still packed as all hell?
Yeah, it's all outside, really packed.
In the back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot they had the back.
So they cleared out all the porta potties and stuff, and just had a lot of outdoor area.
And then that was it. And then Monday came, and then you didn't. You went to work. And
I may have been asked at a certain point by staff to leave DJ's. So,
because they were too full, and they wanted new people to come in. Yeah, that happens.
It had nothing to do with anything else.
No, it's like
it's strictly just.
It's kind of like a bounce house when you're a kid. It's like, hey, you were in here for 20 minutes. Yeah. Which is fine.
So I leave, and then it gets interesting. Let's just say
you went home, and went to bed, and you went to work Monday, and you got a good night's sleep yesterday.
I wind up getting a ride to my buddy's house, get my keys and phone, and then Uber to work because I didn't want to drive on Monday morning.
Now that's being responsible.
Sometimes those hangovers, you're like, I can't be behind a wheel.
Oh yeah, no way. I was like, I'm Uber.
There's a lack of focus.
So I Uber, and then after 2 meetings, I get a ride back down.
To the shore?
To the shore, to then hang out for a bit, and then get my car. But since I usually only work a half day on Mondays, I'm off at night, I don't have sales calls, I figured might as well head back to Headliner because the pool's open.
It's almost like.
And you were off today because of the storm.
And then we're off today because of the storm.
What is the name of the storm?
Isaiah.
Isaias?
Too many vowels.
Society?
Isaiah?
I don't know.
Something.
My mom usually
tropical.
tells me.
I
think it's
tropical.
Isaiah.
It's not deciduous.
Yeah.
Or is it Isaiah? No, it's not Isaiah. It's Isaiah.
My mom I think my mom may have called me 14 times today. Did you lose power? Mom, I didn't lose power. Lisa texted me.
But did you spend 10 grand on the generator?
They text me. Did you lose power? I go, we lost power. The roof blew off. We have no food. Emily's freezing cold. We don't know what to do. Cut it out. We're fucking fine.
That's great.
But we got our guest here, Mr. Rob Kallen. Round of applause. We'll give a little. From the mean streets of
Booton, New Jersey.
That's where I'm at now.
Booton.
That's right.
My alma mater.
Your old stomping grounds.
I was going to wait to tell you this on the pod, but we were talking about it before. There is literally no power in all of Booton. And my mom said... My mom not only asked me if we lost power, she's giving me power updates of places I used to live.
You're not even there anymore.
No.
Well, I was working,
She told
lost power, ended up going to a friend's place who had power for a 3 o'clock meeting that was super important. Turns out the other guy that was supposed to be in that meeting,
Awesome.
he's like, can we push this, back till
I
tomorrow?
thought you meant he
or
died.
Thursday?"
I'm like,
No.
oh.
Yeah,
There
Oh,
you
I
go.
meant like he canceled the
That
meeting.
way- we took this one real quick.
Sorry. I meant like he
Um,
canceled the meeting, so now it's being pushed back to Friday. So I could have just hung out in the darkness. And
Yeah, I think that's where Chase was this weekend, the darkness.
Yeah.
My question is, does all the power from every grid just go to one wire into Booten, and then that got taken down? How does
know.
I
everyone...
feel
my
like Boone
buddy-
loses power quite frequently. in
Putin
storms.
loses power all the time. My cousin said West Orange, Rich, said West Orange loses it a lot too, but Putin lost it a lot. And she said that her friend that still lives there was like, yeah, it might be like days. But she's down in the flats.
All right.
But I don't know if that's good or bad.
If they lose power, they just should get more.
Yeah, in my 7 years there, the flats usually lose
You've been
power
there 7
more
years?
than the hills. Yeah, 2013.
Oh shit! I thought you just moved there.
No. Moved there right before I had my son.
And they go to Putin?
They do. My 2 older ones. And my youngest will probably, well, see
Yeah,
what
I'm
happens.
Team
With,
Lincoln Park.
we'll see what happens with COVID-19, but
Oh yeah, what is up with that? Because you're an expert. You're in the medical field.
Let's just preface everything with I'm not an expert with it.
We're gonna preface
I am
this
in the
with-
medical field.
He's an expert.
It goes the most experts: Trump, Fauci, Kallen.
Callan.
Yeah.
Oh, well, if I was making their salary, I'd happily take that spot. But what do
yeah.
you,
Wait.
What do you
Are
want
they
my,
Are they going
take?
back? There's no way they go back.
They're going back. It's a hybrid.
What is Putin doing?
Right now, it's a hybrid model. So,
AB?
was that?
AB.
AB, yeah. So it's going to be like Group A goes Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday's a virtual day. Group B goes Thursday, Friday. So on the the first 3 days, Group B is doing virtual. The last 3 days, Group A does virtual. And on Wednesday, where everyone does virtual, they're supposed to clean the entire facilities.
Interesting.
That's what's proposed. You also have the option of going all virtual.
You can just be like, which like, are parents gonna do that?
Some are.
Just like the ones that are super scared.
Potentially, or it's the ones that have some sort of comorbidity or immunocompromisation. I can't speak.
Or you don't have to drive your
Who roll
kid
too
on
hard.
certain days and that. It's like, fuck it, they'll just stay home.
Yeah,
I'll
but
work from home, they'll stay home.
you've got like let's say a mom that's on like chemotherapy and she's like immunocompromised.
yeah, of
Yeah, like all
course.
that, or like they have like a grandmother.
Aside, yes,
You might be safe.
but that's not
from
the
that.
majority of people that are staying home.
Probably.
Or you think?
I don't think so. I think a lot of it's also, subjective, like what someone's been taking in, what they truly feel is going to happen. Everyone's situation is unique, and everyone's decision is based on their
Dang.
feelings, and you can't fault them for that because it's their lives.
And when do you come out with the vaccine? When are you coming out with it?
Well, so the vaccine's supposed to be normally 2 to 3 years, but they're putting such a rush on it. Apparently, they're in phase 3, and it's 30,000 people per test. What I recently heard, and I can't confirm this, is that the one, I think it's Moderna, did all Caucasian people.
So that's not like scalable or double blind
Maybe it doesn't
control.
matter. Maybe no. It's all gonna be. It's probably all that sort of stuff. But you're not getting the population.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the population is for like Black and Hispanic in the country.
Why would they do that?
No, they probably forgot, and then after
Well,
they're like, fuck.
There's arguments to it. So I could be completely wrong on all this.
Yeah.
But you're not getting what's representative of the population of the United States. And historically, Black and Hispanics have greater comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, things along those lines.
But don't they have higher
Because I've been working on my
levels of
vaccine.
vitamin D too?
I don't think so. I think it's the opposite, unless I'm wrong about that one.
No, because white people don't have vitamin D
Well-
because they're constantly putting on sunblock.
That's the melanin, I believe, you're thinking of.
No, I
No,
think
no.
you get. No, I think you get your vitamin D is activated by the sunlight more
Yeah.
easily because you're fair skinned.
Yeah.
Darker skinned individuals have to get more sunlight or take a supplement because the melanin
There's some
blocks
along those
it.
lines, yeah. It's some along those lines. But I think based on our diets in the United States, most people are vitamin D deficient.
No, everyone eats healthy.
Of
talking
course.
about?
Of course.
Yeah, I've started taking vitamin D. They got me. I'm like, ah, fuck it.
When was the last time you had your blood taken?
4.
Then just in general, like you like a physical?
Within probably 12 months ago. I do it once a year. I do it actually during the Super Bowl every year. That's my go-to.
Well, there won't
That's
be
how I
a Super
remember.
Bowl this year probably, so next year.
Yeah.
Ask them to do like a vitamin D level.
I've
Yeah.
been-
That's a good idea.
Taking out blood and freezing it, so that way for jiu-jitsu I can blood dope, put it all back in.
Dude.
I've been running some experiments on myself.
Let me know when you want me to start that line for you.
I don't like going against big guys like you.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. And him with his fucking legs, dude.
I know, there's the long and skinny.
I'm like inside control, doing the scarf, trying to get my rib under his rib, and I'm like, why am I looking at his ankle? Why is his ankle right in here?
He almost did that from
It doesn't
bottom
happen.
out. He was throwing his legs under my armpits again, trying to flip me over.
You figured that out? Because I couldn't get it.
Yeah, but it was very close still.
Yeah, I had like my
My brother
toes in
phrased
there.
it best. He goes, none of moves work on you. He's like, a lot of
Yeah.
moves just don't work on you. Or if I know how to like stop it just for body
I'm
type.
trying to do
But
secret baseball bat choke against you.
I was hurting today.
You just didn't have a neck.
Despite however the performance was, I was like, it was 3 times as like stressful on me today. I felt terrible.
The hangover dropped you down a few levels.
Rolling hungover is
The worst.
terrible.
Oh, but I make myself do it all the time.
Yeah, but it's
I
so
won't let
bad.
call
And you can
out.
smell. You can literally smell the alcohol coming out of your pores.
Of course.
It's a nice distinct sweet.
You won't
odor.
call out.
I'll Uber at 7 a.m. to work. I'll roll no matter how terrible I feel. I won't not do it.
Ugh.
Because if you do, then you're like, that's like admitting you shouldn't have gotten that hard. This is like, I had a grand scheme plan. I had a workout schedule today.
And
I'm
you
making-
and you
it's
and you
brutal.
start sweating within the first 28 seconds.
And it's probably good you're flushing your system because you're going to end up sweating it out. Your heart rate's going to be up. Your body's going to filter all the
Your human
toxins.
body is a
and
very
then you-
resilient organism, I'll
Yep,
tell you that.
It certainly is.
Yeah, I
You're
saw
gonna
you
drink
laying on.
water.
So,
Flush
as
it
someone
out.
in the field, if someone was...
What's your background so people know? So we're not just like fucking around.
Okay, so
He's like, I shop at CVS.
Yeah.
Right off.
I got my medical degree on Facebook.
Yeah.
No, so I've been a paramedic since 2003. Worked as an EMT since 97, I think it is. And then I got my nursing degree in 2012. Worked in a burn ICU. But let me backtrack. So I became a paramedic in 2003. Worked in the greater Boston area. And then moved to New York, back to New York, I should say, in 2007, where I worked in South Bronx for the FDNY as a paramedic. Left there after 2 years, worked on a helicopter for 10 years, as a flight paramedic for 6, and then as a nurse for 4. But in the interim, while I was doing that, because I worked 2 24-hour shifts a week, I was working as a paramedic in the city for New York Presbyterian, for Our Lady of Mercy in the Bronx, and then New York Presbyterian doing critical care transport with pediatrics, neonates, and adults. So, and then I got my nursing degree in 2012 while flying. I worked in a burn ICU in the city, and then I got some stories for there. And then I ended up lateraling into the flight nursing position while working per diem. I basically went from the burn ICU, flying as a flight nurse full time.
You didn't fly.
I have flown the aircraft, but I was not a pilot.
Hell.
And then I worked in the ER per diem.
So you've seen some shit.
Just a couple things.
Dude.
And I,
Well, the paramedic in New York City, is that a lot of fluff and the occasional crazy shit, or is it all insane? Because I would imagine
It's-
the burn ICU is all insane.
You'd be surprised. People show up with like a burner leg that needs a grafting, and since it's a surgical unit, you have to admit them and stuff like that. Some of the people just came in just like grossly burnt, like
Head to toe.
charred, leathery skin. There was a guy that defied the odds. This was just insane. So I was on orientation, and this guy came in. He was, I think he's from Guatemala, and he was working to send money back to his family because he had 3 handicapped children. This is like the saddest story, but it's also like triumphant.
Do they prep, just before you go on, do they prep you on like what things are going to look like before you get there, or it's like,
Quit being a bitch and get in that room.
oh my,
And you got these like salt. So there's like a saying like nurses eat their young. So like the old crotchety nurses like just don't care. They just like get in there, don't be scared. But I worked as a medic, so I didn't really care.
Yeah.
I'd seen grossly burned
Yeah,
people,
yeah, yeah.
charred people. So this guy was working under a car in a like a chop shop, whatever it was, in Queens, and he was using a acetylene torch to cut the muffler off. Must have ruptured the line, so the fuel just poured on him. The acetylene torch ignited the fuel. He just ignited. So he shows up, comes from the ER, comes right.
screaming. She's screaming.
Must have been.
But don't you have to like immediately
didn't see
like
him-
knock that person out with like painkillers and shit, sedate them
So-
because they're going nuts?
Yeah, so, but at the same time, sometimes burns actually kill the nerve endings. This is what I'm told. That shit's gotta hurt regardless.
Did you see him come in or no?
Yeah, right when he came up to the ICU. So he went from the
And
ER.
he's not screaming.
He was already out. He was already intubated.
Got it.
Intubated, sedated, everything. So he came in and everyone. So there's a whole. I mean, at the time there was this whole thing where it's like you got to clean them because they come in like dirty, and your skin is your first line of defense against like bacteria and infections and stuff. So he lost his first line of defense. So you got to clean them, but you have to use like antiseptic soap and everything else. So you do that. You got to keep.
You can't like scrub it, right?
You're
You're just spraying stuff on it.
It depends on the person. You're not really spraying. No, you're bathing them. It's got to hurt like there's no tomorrow.
That's why he's got
Yeah. I mean, you basically give.
his brain would be going bonkers.
Yeah, well, you can see their heart rate and the blood pressure go up, tearing in their eyes, everything. It's like they could be completely sedated with in the sense of.
Awareness, consciousness.
How can you cry if you're? We have a lot of questions.
Fire, it's all right. Your eyes just tear when you're in pain. So let's say you have a paralytic on board, you've got your sedation on board, but you don't have your analgesia. So the analgesia is what takes the pain away. Sedation has like some analgesic properties, but that's really not what it's for. So he could be sedated properly, but maybe doesn't have enough analgesia on board, like your fentanyl, your morphine, those medicines. So you might think you gave the right amount, but this guy is just in so much pain that he's ripping through it, and it's like you want to bring him down to here, but the medicine you gave is only down to here. So this gap right here is enough.
Can you give him more that'll kill him?
Yeah.
Like if you have to bring it down, can you give him more to bring him down,
You're
or like
not
now you
going to
start?
kill him if he's intubated and you took over his airways controlled and his ventilatory status is good. However, you could kill him if you drop their blood pressure so much. But that's kind of there's more factors associated with that.
Yeah.
So with a burn, with this guy, so you have to look at different parts. You have your skin. So it's like, all right, we got to clean the skin. You got to, make sure he's warm because your skin also keeps you, helps with your warmth and such.
So what is your body temperature will drop?
Yeah, you'll freeze. You become hypothermic. You can be burnt hypothermic in the middle of a heat wave in the summertime if you're burnt bad.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have the heating factor portion of it, the infection control with your skin, where you want to prevent that. You have to regulate heart rate, blood pressure. So when you also burn, there's something called a fluid shift. It's like a thing called third spacing. So basically, it leaves the cells and goes into your. You have intracellular, intravascular, interstitial. So it goes to the interstitial space. So they kind of swell up a little bit, and they start leaking everywhere. So you have like bed
Leaking
drainage,
what?
everything else. What? Like your fluid, your body fluid.
Like oozing.
Like your intracellular.
Like you ever get like
Like a
something
blister.
like
Yeah.
that?
It's kind of like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so it depends how bad you already said it, like bed drainage, because you have to keep track of all the fluid going in and all the fluid coming out. So you set up like suction, it's a whole like rigged system that nurses have come up with, and you calculate the amount of like fluid that comes out. You got to dump it, and then you have to calculate the number of fluid going in. So you have to put like your lactated ringers. For the first like 24 or 48 hours, I forget, it's been so long, and then your saline, so you have all the fluid going in, then plus you got to calculate all of your drips going in.
How long was he out for?
This dude, he was in the unit for I think 6 months before he was discharged. Hang on a second. He was, I forget if it was 71% burn or 73% burnt, and he ended up defying the odds. And so not only did he get allografting, which is like cadaver skin to help grow his skin,
Which has to match up, I would imagine.
you can reject it, yeah. He didn't reject his. I don't recall. I don't recall him rejecting. I think he was able to start growing some of his own. But he also had something called autografting, which is like they take your own skin. So there's parts of his body that weren't burnt. Like let's say the left side of his thigh was burnt. They'll take skin, and then they'll you heal it, then you retake it, because he was there for so long.
Oh, fuck.
They took skin from the bottoms of his feet and his scrotal sac. That's how much.
His testicles.
Yep.
For what?
To regrow
To
elsewhere.
regrow skin. His skin was like gonzo.
For fuck's sake, dude.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, he was completely disfigured, and he's gonna have lifelong complications. I know one of the the long-term complications with burns is itching. Sometimes they don't. I don't think they have like sweat glands and stuff. Like they're not sweat glands. They're unable to sweat. Sensation, things like that. So he will have lifelong complications associated. But he walked out of the hospital, and I remember like nurses had been there for like 20 years were like crying because he defied the odds. It was pretty cool to see. So
Dude, that bothers me. I don't
yeah,
like that.
but there's a this is gonna sound kind of like grotesque and like dark humored, but you get so it becomes like nothing a lot of times what you see. And you're like, oh, hey, Sean, he ended up having like, some skin I couldn't, it's like, it's almost like it's about to slough off, but it needs to be debrided. It's like, oh, no worries, I'll get it on my shift because you have to do burn care twice a day. So you kind of be at a competition, it's like trying to get the skin off.
Oh.
And so when you like do like, because you have to like bathe them in like sometimes in bleach.
Was he knocked out for 6 months?
No. He went to the step down unit, which was like, at the time was like, we had like 40 beds or 42 beds, I forget what it was, and it was like almost like a square or a rectangle, and one side was the ICU, one side was step down. Just taking a guess, he was probably in the ICU for like 3 or 4 months and stepped down because he had to have like minor surgeries here and there, and sometimes he's on a ton of antibiotics. Of course, they all get infected with like Acinetobacter or Pseudomonas. Yeah, so that was my burn experience.
Dude, I had a fireman tell me once at a house that he ran into a home to pick this I don't know, guy or girl, pick the dude up, picked him up, and he said he came out of his skin.
Yeah.
Like he just pulled skin and body and the skeleton was like still there.
Like, I don't even know how to describe it.
So the skin was probably sloughing off, and since it
like
probably
a juicy chicken, and you go to grab it, and you just the skin just comes off.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they were dead.
I think this person died.
I hope, you hate to say this, but I hope they died because there's no way.
I'm pretty sure
it's
they
not
died.
like torture.
No, I'm pretty sure they died for sure. This was a guy. I went to. It was an appointment. I went hungover as all hell. The guy answers the door, 9 a.m. on a Saturday. Answers the door with the coldest looking Budweiser I've ever seen in my life.
Like sweating off the can?
Yeah, the bottle. Bottles. He's drinking it down and he's like, hey, you want one? And I'm staring at this bottle like I really want it, but I didn't take it. I sold the job.
Nice.
But I didn't take it.
You weren't as on the first chase, I guess.
Dude.
I should have taken it. But I don't think I
Never
was.
drank on an appointment, but we did have something that's topped all wild shit that happens on appointments. Because kids selling a job. And the guy's like 60 years old, but like single, like rages out still in that. And he's like, yeah, got something for you, man. Can't buy the roof, I'm unemployed, but have fun with somebody the next time you're having a night out and take these. And he gave him like male sex enhancement pills.
Who?
One of the sales guys got it from a homeowner.
Oh, I thought you meant me or you. I'm like,
No.
What the fuck?
Please tell me this guy didn't take them.
He just posted and goes, this guy gave me this. It was like not prescription, but it's like one of those like over the counter.
Yeah, you get it like
that.
not CV,
Seven
like
gas
a day or
station.
whatever. Yeah.
But the guy
Rhino
that gave him them
boners.
is like, he's like, trust me, these are the best on the market. Like, I've tried them all. The kid posted and we're like, what the fuck are you, like, what kind of, I've been running appointments for 8 years. I got some stories. He's been here for 2 months selling. And he's smoking like cigs with the homeowner, like selling jobs and shit. It's crazy.
Everyone's got a method.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's wild.
But wait, so most of the New York stuff.
Yeah.
I would imagine you saw some bomb. You're seeing everything is crazy, or it's like a lot of dumb shit that you have to deal with, and then like the tail end.
Yeah, it's so I work in the South Bronx, and it's impoverished neighborhood, so you're gonna get just the volume and variety is gonna be fantastic. And every neighborhood has its own like the calls you get a lot. So like you work Midtown Manhattan, you're gonna do a ton of homeless people. It's just the way it is. It's where the money is. It's where they go.
There's a ton of
homeless people in Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah. But you get called for that?
Yeah, the unconscious person. They're down on the sidewalk.
Oh, someone will be like,
yeah,
they're
unconscious. Yeah. So in the South Bronx, I remember doing like a little paper on this. So if you look at the South Bronx, you have the Cross Bronx going across east and west. then you have Major Deegan and the Bruckner, right? So you have a lot of vehicles, going around with their exhaust and everything else. You have poorly kept, buildings, NYCHA, like New York City housing. So you have pet dander, rat dander, all that sort of stuff. So the
Cat dander and rat dander?
Yeah, like the animals and stuff, it's just not kept clean. So you have, I think it was something like a 17% asthma rate. So 17% of
people.
Yeah, these numbers are going to change. I did this paper in grad school years ago. So and I forget when I read the study. So 70% of people have asthma. It never has variation where they just may take a daily inhaler, never have an asthma attack. Other people are basically attached to a neb all day long because their lungs, just the alveolar sacs just close up. So we would show up for the same people over and over again, bad asthma attacks, and you're given a bunch of medicine. There was once in I think it was in his 20s, he came in as an asthma attack. We're like, all right, another asthma attack, and you kind of go this mundane, here we go again, and you open the door and there he is, face down at the top of the stairs, and you're like, shit, guy's in cardiac arrest. So it's you just never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
I remember there was one period I had 2 weeks of just doing complete BS, and it may not be BS. It's not BS to the patients. But to us, it's almost like, oh, you've got abdominal pain, and they're walking to the ambulance. You're like, all right, how bad is it? Did you actually need an ambulance? Could you have gone to the hospital yourself? Or maybe you've seen your primary care doctor if they have one, or they don't have one. Can you go to a clinic? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you do 2 weeks of triple shootings. Someone stabbed, cardiac arrest.
Blood squirting out somewhere.
Or it's people's lungs full of fluid. They go into congestive heart failure. Just you name it.
How do you not freak the fuck out when you see that, dude?
You get used to it. You get desensitized.
But that means at one point you weren't.
Right. The first dead person I saw, which was a guy who was partially decapitated, that was eye-opening. Yeah. But the more you see things, the more you get used to it, the more you get it. So the first time you stepped on a mat, you may have felt intimidated rolling with someone. Now it's all right, how am I going to get this guy? What's my first move going to be?
Sure.
So you kind of
sure.
But you have to correlate it. You run parallel tracks on how you think about it.
Yeah. Well, this is way crazier. The shit you'll see.
Yeah. So the best way I try and tell people is something inside me died, the sensitivity where it's the actual caring for it.
Your meter broke.
It was gone. And then December 2016, when I was flying, we got called for a
helicopter.
Yeah, helicopter. We got called for a head-on collision, and so this is cold morning.
Head-on collision car.
2 trucks.
Truck, Mac 10 truck, 18-wheeler.
18-wheeler, and then a front-end box truck.
Yeah, 18-wheeler to the max.
So, So it's on an off-ramp or a service road from I-84 up in Orange County. I think it was Maywood. I forget the location. And I remember we landed at a remote landing zone, probably a quarter mile from the scene, and we get driven, in a truck with our gear. And
do you have any idea what you're walking into?
No. I mean, if you fly over the scene, you can be like, wow, it looks pretty bad, or it doesn't look that bad. But it doesn't matter, because you could have someone do a fender bender and just they weren't wearing a seatbelt, they hit the steering wheel, they got massive internal damage. There's people I've seen that have done we've done rollovers. The person's walking around, you're like, shouldn't you be dead by now? Some things just don't make sense. So I ended up we ended up going there, and they're like, oh, one guy's DOA, but this guy I think still has a pulse. We're like, all right. So the 18-wheeler hit. It was driver side to driver side, and the guy in the box truck was ripped out of his truck. His leg was ripped off.
Fuck, dude.
And he died on the scene. I hope he died at impact, so he didn't have to suffer. But the other guy, the damage to the 18-wheeler, the sound this impact made.
Must have been death.
They must have heard it from a mile away, if not more.
It was boom!
Yeah. So we're there waiting, and then someone was inside the cab, and just the damage, we're just waiting, all right, bring him out to us. They're like, yeah, he doesn't have a pulse anymore. And they pulled him out. He had a hole in his head.
They both died.
Both died. And so I was just looking at the scene and stuff, and I was standing between the leg and the body, and I called my ex-wife, and I was like, why do I still do this? Why do I still and she's like, is this your first moment of humanity? Because I met her when I was flying as a medic. So something inside me died already. And, which I don't think it died. You just suppress it.
Your meter broke. Your meter broke.
I just think the meter was just unplugged.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah. Dude, I have a buddy who is in the medical field. Works in, he does like ear, nose, and throat. He's a surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get some of these videos or pictures, and I'm like, yo, man. First of all, I can't even watch them. I get them, delete them right away. And I go, yo, man, you know I delete these. He's like, no, you gotta watch this one. Like, the face got ripped off by a railing, and I fucking sewed her back together.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, how? He'll do that, and then, like, him and his fiance, they'll go, like, out to eat dinner. Okay, how was work today?
It was good. We put someone's face back on.
Oh, nice. Did a fucking rhinoplasty, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, so this, I guess, goes to, like, the desensitization.
Desensitization.
Thank you. Yeah, English is my first language and I can't speak it. No, it's, you just get so used to it. I mean, you work with your partner and it's like, so when I worked on the ground, if let's say you get called for like an unconscious person or cardiac arrest and you go there and they're dead, like there's no, you can't resuscitate, they've been dead for like a day, 2 days, hours, whatever it is. You have to wait for the police to arrive. You can't just like walk away from, someone, a body, leave it unattended. So you'd be sitting there literally like waiting for the cops to show up, and sometimes the cops know what they're going into. You could read the notes on the mobile. We had an MDT, mobile data terminal. And it's like patients like blue or decomposing, like whatever it is. And so you're sitting there waiting, like your partner be like, "What do you want to do for lunch?" There's a dead body right there.
Yeah,
like,
dude, I don't know. That's crazy.
Another day in the office.
Yeah,
Dude.
it just becomes like someone's got to send a fax or type up a memo.
Fuck. No, it's not like typing up a memo. Standing between a leg and a body of a dead person is not like me jumping on a 10 a.m. marketing call to talk about what we're going to do for the
It's
day.
all relative.
Dude, that's fucking nuts, man.
Mm-hmm.
And now are you,
No, working for a medical device company.
so no more dead bodies? Done.
No.
Just the ones
I
in his
will-
backyard.
I will get back into working on an ambulance, my first true love of healthcare at some point.
An ambulance?
Yeah, I'll do that. The helicopter was
That's
like...
an EMT, no? Same thing?
I'm a paramedic. I'll stay as a paramedic.
What's the difference?
So I try and tell people in EMT, so it's preventative care while paramedics invasive. So EMT is like bleeding, wounds and shock, defibrillation, splinting, they can do CPR, ventilation, all that sort of stuff, like your assessments. While paramedics do that, and they also like do IV therapy, medication administration, they, analyze and interpret EKGs.
If I call 911, who's showing up? Which one?
It depends on what you call, depends on the system you work in. The system, depends on the EMS system in where you live.
If I
So-
fucking split open my hand,
You should be getting just EMTs.
we would just go to the hospital actually if you split
Right.
your hand open.
So let's use New York City, for example. You split your hand open, you're just getting EMTs. It's BLS, basic life support.
If your hand's shooting blood on your sink, no one's there to drive you to the hospital.
Emergency.
You're not like getting behind the wheel.
Emergency. We go downstairs, Chase's
Unconscious.
like this, eyes roll behind his head. We have to call
paramedics.
911.
You get paramedics and EMTs.
It's a good theoretical though, because I am immortal.
Dude, I saw you laying down on that thing. I'm like,
I saw that too. I'm like,
he's hurting.
is it just gonna be the Sean and Rob show on the mat today?
He's hurting.
Yeah.
I was hurt. So on this track, let's say someone was having a very fun summer. When your body is very resilient as a pig, how long does it take where like if you ate clean, didn't consume alcohol for like 2-3 months, does your body like regenerate or like restore?
Everyone's different, but I'm sure your body would be very thankful that you did.
Okay.
I participated in a study. I went vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free for 1 month.
Added sugar or all sugar? You ate
Like
fruit.
no-
Well, I drank wine, so you could have fruit, so you could have those sugars. I mean, refined sugar.
Yeah, like
whatever. And
that sounds terrible. Continue.
I dropped 20 pounds. I went from 204 to 184.
You cried
Span of
every night.
30 days. Well, I was like, what are those things in the mirror? Those are my abs. They've been
you
covered
found
in
it.
Yeah, I was like, this is amazing. And then I've been waiting for you guys since I was like 10. And then I continued on, and I dropped down to 180, and I'm like, I gotta stop. I was too lanky and.
How tall are you? 6'2"?
6'1", 6'2". Thanks to jiu-jitsu.
6'1", 180?
Yeah.
Dang.
Dude, I was like, walking.
You're next, bro.
Dude, it was like this
You're like,
skeleton with like
how much is
skin
branch
stretched
How
over
much
me.
is branch weigh?
Probably 160.
No way, he's gotta be like.
No, he's gotta be
170s,
long. He's gotta be way more than that.
How tall is he?
6'12"?
No, he's probably about 6 feet 6'1".
He's probably
He's
6
not
foot
that-
on the bottom.
You know what it is, but he feels like he's 500 pounds when he puts that pressure in your jaw. And
Yeah.
you're like
No, it's his whatever this is.
the bone in his shoulder.
Clavicle.
No, this is clavicle. This
Oh, the
is
clavicle's your
Conor McGregor bone.
It's your AC joint.
Yeah, that into my
AC.
face where I'm like, hey man, like it's Sunday and it's 9:40.
I resisted for a really long time, but the problem is he'll get me in that position with like 4 minutes still left in the round. So with like a minute and a half left, when he finally gets through, and I'm like, why didn't I should have just like tried to work out of it earlier instead of wasting all that
Dude,
energy.
it's
Do you know what I started
terrible.
doing? Because I'm older and like I guess my gas tank isn't as full as some of the younger guys. When he does that, like I'll try and bump, try and strip. Like obviously nothing's working. I actually just lay there and catch my breath. Like if I get it,
I did that today
that's
against you.
That's
I did that
only,
today
that's only
against you,
positive.
dude.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm
Oh, that was the
gassed
side
right
control?
now. Yeah, I was like, I'm not getting
I'll
out.
recoup for a bit and hope he stays tired.
I was like, I'm not getting out. He's not getting mount. My arm, I felt my arm like this. I was like, it literally is pulsating. I can't squeeze. Just gotta catch my breath. I'll roll over. He'll do something in like S mount. I'll try to slip through. I was like, I got a few minutes left.
I was slowly working your right arm. I couldn't get it though.
But yeah.
I think you ended up grabbing my left leg. And
Definitely wasn't at my best, but you started stopping my, as you're in like an S mount, I'll go both arms underneath the leg and then shrink out, and you started to like stop doing that, and I was like, damn, this is one of my bullshit escapes that usually works.
Well, now we know.
Yo, so we do this segment called Uncle Mark, where we take a deep dive into your past
Oh dear God!
and we bring up pictures.
Please don't.
We are.
Oh,
We got a
this is
few.
so bad.
And we're gonna need some explanations on them.
Okay, I see one picture already on the
Like
desktop.
this. Explain yourself.
Oh
So-
man, you went to Facebook.
We are going to need an explanation. Is this,
This is from 2007, 2008.
and this was on, this is the
This
the
is
chopper.
Yeah, this is. I was working as a flight medic. I think my sister came to visit me, and
It's a big fucking helicopter, no?
that's That's November
Called
Yankee.
Whirly
Oh, that's
Bird.
sorry, that's 118 November Yankee. The aircraft. That. Yeah, it was just a picture. I didn't have any pictures when I flew, and I'd already been there for like
And you were like,
6
yeah,
months
let
a
me-
year. So I took a picture.
And you're strapped with the scissors and you're,
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta cut clothing sometimes.
dude, that is insane. And that's the chopper you were on the whole time?
No, that was one. Oh my God, how many choppers? 118,
I'm
117.
gonna call it chopper, by the way, not helicopter.
135 Alpha Mike, 578 Alpha Mike, 64 Alpha Mike. That was one of 5 aircraft that I flew in. That was a part of my primary location.
Bro, you know how you joke? Like, oh, like one night when you get drunk, I'm gonna put you on an airplane and put a horse on there?
Yeah.
Because I don't like flying and I don't like horses.
He doesn't like big animals, so I'm like, dude, you're gonna pass out one night. You're just gonna be fucking parachuted in with like a horse.
I can't imagine
Anxiety.
the anxiety that I would have, not only just getting on a helicopter sober, number one, but getting on a helicopter sober and alert to then go potentially
Save someone's life.
and see like their
This is a
skull
dumb
split
question.
open.
When someone has an accident, you guys fly out. You're not just like flying in the air, hanging
No.
out during the day. Like,
No, so this
circling
was
about.
no, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, it's not like you're patrolling the skies.
Yeah.
No, so that
accident!
that airport was actually based at Westchester Medical Center, which it no longer was. They moved it. That was they moved it in 2009. What?
He's picturing you guys just like
No,
cruising
Yeah.
around.
no, even better. He punches in for the day, and they just all go and have to sit in the helicopter on the ground. You can't leave the helicopter just like that for 8 hours.
Oddly enough, when we got calls, there were some times we would sit, because we had to go on standby, you're sitting in the aircraft waiting for the green light to either go or no go.
And are you close by? Like, how far feet-wise are you from the helicopter? You're in like a building not far away, right? 20 feet?
100 feet maybe. From
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't far. There was a helipad out back. There was a helideck on the other side of the hospital where the ER is.
Dude,
But so that aircraft, that base shut down. I ended up going to another base up.
They shut down? How does that happen?
So you have to. So I'll work for a for-profit company. So you have to, have enough revenue coming in. You don't have the flight volume and the insurance reimbursement.
So like on your way to work, you're like flipping the stop sign down. You're like, I have a feeling around 2 o'clock.
Yeah. That's almost like a firefighter setting fires.
Like
the area where he works.
He's like,
Now, people, you'd be surprised that alcohol does wonders. Excuse me, for people in flying.
oh yeah.
But so worked there. Then I went to Air 2, and I stayed at Air 2 for almost 8 years, and we had different aircraft. So when I got to Air 2, that's a BK 117. I forget which model that is. I think it was a B2 model, is it? And then when I went to that's Air 1, went to Air 2, we ended up having an EC 135 and that aircraft. So we ended up, it was really weird. We ended up flying at night in the 135 and then the BK during the day, because that one was not fitted for night vision goggles.
And are you just doing like 12-hour shifts, or this
24.
one you were saying 24?
7A to 7A. Day on, day off, day on, 5 days off.
Dude, okay. This is what I don't understand.
I know exactly.
And I try to have this explained to me. So I'll explain it this way. We all watch the UFC, right? Before someone fights, they have their hard training camp, right? Was it 12, 16 weeks, something like that?
No, like 8, 10, I think.
Okay, 8, 10. Few
I'm
weeks
not
of
a pro
hard
fighter, despite what you may think.
few hardcore weeks of training. Then when they do the embedded, right? They're getting massages. They got the chef making perfect meals, water, hydration. Everything is like pampered, tailor-made for that person on that one night to showcase their skills.
Yeah.
For entertainment. In the medical field, you do some dumbass shit like working 24 hours in a row. To me, that is the dumbest thing on the face. To become a nurse, to become a doctor, it's like the badge of honor. Like, I haven't slept in 3 days. It's like, that's terrible. You're gonna kill everybody. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
I think part of the reason is with tending to patients and doing that, like the amount of care you're giving that patient. Like if you have every like 6 hours or 8 hours, it would be so much like
So
that you're unable to communicate and do in a short period of time.
I agree with you. I don't have an answer because I wonder how many mistakes were made based on fatigue.
But that was back in the day, though. They like stopped doing it as much now, right? They don't do the
Residents-
24 hours resident stuff.
Yes, they do.
They do 12-hour shifts, and then sometimes they take call, which they will be.
Yeah, they'll do dumb shit.
But call's not the way it used to be. Like the residents in the past used to do like
24 and then a 12 the next day.
like hundreds of how many hours in a week? 144 is it?
72
What-
times 2,
what-
140.
It's like 168 or
160,
180.
whatever.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
180, yeah.
Math was never my forte.
Yeah.
But they would work like, let's say it's 168. They would do work like 120 hours, 140 hours. Like that's unsafe. That's insanely unsafe.
Yeah.
But that was the only reason I ever got, was the communication between patients could get. And I'm like, okay, that's something.
Because if you're doing so
that's
much
a con.
meds every like couple
Sure.
hours and then
That's
so
a
many
con.
people are coming in and out.
Can we like figure that one out so I don't have a fucking doctor that's like.
I can say it's the pilots did 12-hour shifts. That's FAA regulated, but we did 24s, and I'd like to think
12 is okay.
12 is
if
fine.
You
12 is
sleep
not
for
bad.
like 6 or 7. 12 is okay.
Yeah.
But those 24 is like.
I feel like you can bang out, if you're properly
But
rested,
you're-
though,
but
you
you-
could bang out 24.
But you're also not actually. Can you sleep or not?
You can. But it all depends. So when are these flights coming in? Are you did you not do anything all day?
Dude,
and then
there's-
10 o'clock at night you decide to lay down, and then 10:01 the tones go off, and you have a flight, and now you're going to Boston, and you're not going to get back till,
Dude,
like 4
there's
in the
so
morning.
much studies on sleep and shit that is the dumbest fucking thing we're doing.
There was a day, the most flights I ever did was 6
In a day?
in a day, in a 24-hour shift.
Dang.
So, oddly enough, I was working as a medic, and the nurse I was with also does jiu-jitsu. He's the guy who got me into it. He used to go to AMA, and we were at South Albany Airport, and you're supposed to get out of the aircraft because of safety when you're refueling in case there's some sort of static charge when you're putting the fuel in. Doesn't happen. I'm sure it has. So we went to the pilot. We're like, do you care if we just sit here?
Yeah.
And so we had done our 6th flight, and you remember our chart. The charting isn't like you do a couple things and you submit it. Like sometimes charts take anywhere from 35 minutes to hours.
Fuck that.
So we had 6 of them to do. So we're sitting there,
That's
and
insane.
it was I think 3 or 4 in the morning, and he's like, "What are we doing? Let's just call out, crew rest." And I was like, I'd be afraid of grabbing vasopressin, thinking it's Zofran. So vasopressin is something that we have in our bodies that helps with your,
I know.
It's a hormone, yeah. And so you give it to, for blood pressure. For the way we gave it was for blood pressure. And so I'd be afraid of grabbing that, pushing the whole vial of that, thinking it's Zofran, which is an antiemetic, and then this person just dies. And so he's like, let's just call it crew rest. I was like, fine, let's just do it.
Dude,
We were gone. Woke up, we got back, woke up how many hours later, and we were at work until 2 p.m. charting.
Well, so crew rest is just we
You
need
get
time out.
you get a time out. I think it was a 3-hour break. I think it was 3 hours.
This doesn't
You're
seem
just
safe.
you're waving the white flag I need a save.
I want the guy in the helicopter to be getting a massage. I want him fully locked in. Not 6th call of the day, 3 hours before he can go to sleep after not sleeping for 21 hours. I don't want that guy.
This is funny.
Sometimes on the adrenaline, though, that's the fucking guy you
Yeah,
want.
you'd be surprised.
He's gonna be burnt.
You wake up sometimes it's you maybe flew all day, you lay down at 11 o'clock at night, and 1 o'clock you're popping up, so 2 hours, maybe you're just about to enter your REM sleep or wherever you're at, and you're like, oh, I feel groggy, and then you come over this scene on a highway, and all you see are just flashing lights. You're like, what the F did we just stumble upon?
I don't know.
And that,
I'm
you
not
wake
taking
up.
that. Yeah, I'm sure
you
you do.
wake up, and it's almost as if it's you slept 8 hours. But so when I worked there, it was 4 pilots, 4 nurses, 4 medics, and you got to know everyone real well. So you could literally look at someone and be like, oh, so-and-so's eyes are red. Someone's tired.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they look completely normal.
Fuck.
It's like you knew them. You'd come in some mornings for for shift change. Dude's face down on the couch.
Dead.
You see their papers all on the table.
Cool.
It's like, oh, they're gonna be here a while. It's like, what can I make you for breakfast? Can I
You
make
have a friend that's a
coffee?
nurse, and there's days where it's just yo, you guys, they live around the corner, yo, you guys want to hang out? It's Joe had a rough shift or whatever, and
Yeah.
it's sleep
Yeah.
for days.
But sometimes you're just running around. It's there are times I worked in the ER or even the ICU where you're running around so much that you actually go to bed, you wake up, you're so sore. It's did I have a full body workout? All you're doing is walking.
Yeah.
Just on your feet.
Yeah.
All right, what about this one, dude?
dear.
Speaking of,
That was the blue belt. That was the day of the blue belt.
dude, how good did it feel?
I was on a 3-day high after that. Nothing can get me down. I counted 3 days.
Invisible shield.
Yeah.
Nothing will stop you.
Oddly enough, the 4th day after I got my blue belt, I did some workout in the Hamptons. So I go to Hamptons Jiu-Jitsu, and I was there, and I remember going against the guy who owned the place, the black belt. Just, of course, he annihilated me like a cat playing with a mouse. But I go against this blue belt. I think he had 2 stripes on his belt, and the belt was all worn out. Oh my God, this guy's gonna destroy me. I'm gonna be embarrassed. I'm gonna represent AMA. 2 minutes into the round, I did a baseball bat choke, and I'm like, what the hell goes on?
You were like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, what goes on at AMA that isn't elsewhere?
Dude, of
For all
course.
I know, I just capitalized on his one opening or
Nope.
whatever it was.
Destroyed him. You destroyed him.
Yeah,
Baseball bat from top.
yeah. And when Neon Valley came under, swung around.
Yeah. Dude, if you hit that right,
Yeah.
good night.
When we did our little tour day jurors, people we roll with in the room are definitely
I usually always
different
let them.
cloth
I always
than
let
some
them.
of the other ones
Yeah.
we visited.
I always let them try to take the pace, but Once they start revving up, it's like,
Nah.
get it going.
You told me about, I think you were in Georgia and the guy wanted to fix his belt mid-round.
Dude, he's on top, right? On my fighting bottom. And he's a bigger dude, right? Probably about your size, maybe a little thicker, but definitely your height. He's on top. Get to like a sweep. I don't know if it wasn't really like a clean sweep, but like caught him off balance, push him forward. I'm holding on, so like I get brought up. His belt like comes unraveled. Timeout. At AMA, when that happens, what gets shouted out?
Prison rules.
Prison rules. Belt comes off. It's not like, whoa, time it. It's prison rules now.
Wait, your brother gets, it's almost like this level of excitement because it just like, the level of intensity just went up.
Correct. That's where it's like, let's get it going.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's like, as I'm going up to like take top side or half, whatever. One sec, I just gotta fix my. I was like this. I'm just on the bottom for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, yo, come on.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, this is nonsense. I didn't go back the next day. All right, last one, dude.
Oh boy. I know this.
What the heck?
I know exactly.
You were before you did paramedic stuff.
No, this is Darren.
This was your headshot for like a play you were trying to do, or a movie?
You wish. No, so there was a girl I knew in college happened to be visiting New York City, so we went out, and that book, she had something to do with that book. I forget what it was, and I was like, oh, it's kind of artistic, and making a joke. I kind of just leaned, like we were waiting for the subway. I just kind of leaned. I said, take this picture. I was totally screwing around.
The story we're gonna go with is this was a sarcastic photo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Dude, incredible. How many years ago was this? This is pre-jiu-jitsu.
I think I was living in Queens. Oh, wait, pre-jiu-jitsu. This is probably 08, 09.
Dude, amazing.
Yeah, back when
absolutely amazing.
Had more hair. It was youthful. My skin was taut, not wrinkly.
Pre-dead bodies and burn victims.
No, this is right in the
This is prime.
This in the thick of it, yeah.
That was a guy right there you're sitting next to. Too soon. That was dark humor. And another thing we do on here, other than Uncle Mark, is, and you can't lie, what are the last 3 things you Googled? No. Like, pull your phone out, and I want you to tell us the last 3 things.
I usually delete all the porn.
And you can't lie. You have to tell us what it is.
Dan Peterson, because I listened to the Jocko podcast.
Mm.
Christine Cupo, C-U-P-O, and then I was trying to send a joke to someone, so it was tired dog puns.
Love it. Dude, amazing.
Or yeah, I think his last name is Pedersen.
Nice. Dude, appreciate you coming on.
It was an honor. It's always an honor to be here and roll with you guys. This is, I've seen the Have Another.
Dude, this is it. This is all we do. Us and our 8 viewers. We'll roll again this week soon. Yo, good stories though, dude.
That's just scratching the surface.
Alright, we'll do another one where we won't, these are words. We won't roll. We'll just like have dinner, drink and chill, and we'll just like get
into it.
Yeah, some
like untimed,
crazy stories.
Okay.
Alright, good shit. Alright, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, not TikTok, because
it's getting banned by Big Don.
I think we deleted ours, but definitely not there.
Official HAO show.
Yeah. All right. Peace.